Next on the agenda today, we have Jon Brewton, founder and CEO at Data², and John Stegeman, product specialist at Neo4j. They'll be discussing the best path for taking Gen AI from pilot to scalable, production-ready applications.
And I suspect there's people listening to us today who say, I kind of get it. I mean, knowledge graphs sound interesting, but I'm not really sure what is it that they do for me. So maybe could you help us understand what exactly the knowledge graph, what part does it play in what you're doing, and how is it helping your customers and helping you to deliver what you deliver?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. Like in general, we as an approach take both structured, unstructured data, and we really start to apply it to a database model that scales in both of those directions. And in general, that's not easy to do, especially when you're talking about like the differentiation and how these things are stored. So knowledge graphs really allow us to seamlessly ingest and integrate large volumes of both structured and unstructured data and map it accurately into a database model that I think has a couple of inherent value propositions. In general, you get a graphical representation of your data landscape, how things are connected, why they're connected in general, and what that means for, what you should leverage for your modeling, your decisions, and the way that you interrogate that information. But it really just serves as a rich, interconnected repository of your information, which allows sort of ease of interrogation. And I think on the other end of that, it really allows for like timely synthesis of information. And I know that for us, the ability to distill broad, differentiated, bifurcated data into this format allows us to sort of inherently see the value of the connections between this information. But how does that help us in general in terms of what we like to do? What it allows people to do is pose complex queries and ultimately systems to generate precise context-aware responses for those users. So you can ask really complicated questions because of the underlying structure of the data model, the connections within the understood relationships between data in general. Not necessarily domain or problem specific, but how this landscape, this system, these things really connect, allows us to leverage really the most relevant information to the query that we're posing and generate the most context-aware, rich, and valuable response to any of those questions. And so I think the database model and the structure of it are fundamental to what we're trying to do. And they fundamentally enable our ability to do some of the advanced reasoning things that I think make Data² very different within this landscape.